Today I'm just going to be showing you guys how I get like super flat traditional box braid installs. The first part of doing the box braids is like blow drying out the hair. It's really important to make sure that there are no potential like knots and tangles that you could run into, because these could create like more volume in the braid, so you'll have like an uneven braid, and then also it could like just tangle up on their scalp and make the removal really difficult, and like they'll get a lot of shedding and all that stuff. So anyways, it's really important to make sure you blow dry out the hair. I blow dry on medium heat and I use the low setting. You don't really have to like blow dry it out super harshly like you're doing a press or anything, because essentially you just want to make sure that it's easy to comb through as you're going all throughout the head, and you want it to make your process as smooth and as quick as possible. And you don't really need a lot of heat to do that. When I blow dry the hair out, I always like to put the head in 4 sections because it just makes the process like smoother and easier, and plus I usually end up running into like less tangles, so it's like less painful for my clients. So I basically just add that on to any service that I feel like it's necessary for, which actually ends up being like most of my services. It's not even really like a big deal for me to add it on. But so yeah, I'm just gonna be showing you guys as I blow dry throughout these 4 sections. I'm just pre-sectioning off the hair. This step is really important because it actually ends up saving you a ton of time as you're working throughout the person's head. It literally won't take you more than like 15 minutes in the beginning, but it can potentially save you like an hour. Like for this style, I actually ended up using only 3 sleeves of hair. I like to keep the hair pretty light on the person's head because it'll lay flat and then it'll be flexible. I don't typically like to use like a ton of hair. And I actually always use pre-stretched hair. I don't like to stretch the hair myself. That'll also like save you a ton of time if you just get some hair that's pre-stretched, and most of the time it's a lot like smoother and easier on your fingers. But yeah, so I section off the hair, and then of course I get my Shine and Jam. This is literally like the best gel to use for braiding hair. I'm pretty sure like you already know about it if you watch videos, but it smooths down literally any texture. It's pretty lightweight. I don't know, like the formula is pretty nice. Like it sticks well to most people's hair, so it's really good. But anyways, I'm gonna start parting from the back, of course. I only took down the back section of hair just simply because like there's no point in taking down all of her sections and then putting it to one section because you're probably more prone to getting like tangles and all that. So I just take down the back section, and then of course like I part my straight line. When I do my partings, I always make sure that I bricklay, but when you bricklay, it's really important to start off right because it's easy to like get off track. Even like from the very first braid, it's like super important to stay on track. So that's kind of why I like to pre-part, as I at least go through the rows. Some people like to pre-part like the whole head. I just like to pre-part like row by row. It's just easier for me. But you just see me here trying to make sure I get a really sharp line. When I'm parting, I usually like to dry part first, and then what I'll do is I'll like slick some gel on it to help me see the line better, and then I'll straighten and I'll go from there. Helps with my braids being super flat is the way that I actually put the hair into the head. I didn't really show it well from this angle, but I actually show you a couple times in this video. I don't know if this is like the typical way of forming like a braid, but this is just the way that I've always done it, and it always gets me like really flat results. I'm gonna try to kind of explain what I do before I actually show you again. So what I do is like I get a piece of hair and I split it into 3 sections. The way that I split it into 3 sections is like I hold one side as one section, and then the next portion I split into 2. And the way I attach it is I like open up a middle section of the actual part, and then I place the hair in between, and I just kind of like start braiding. The explanation might have been really bad, so like I said, I will show you like a couple times of me doing this. So I split the hair into 3 sections like this. Like I said, I open up the middle of the part, and I just kind of like attach it. Like the 2 skinny sides are with the 2 sections of actually like her hair, and then the one bigger side of the braiding hair is with nothing, and I just kind of like braid down. I'm going to show you guys a bunch of angles. I'm really sorry for my explanation. See, I split the braiding hair into 3 sections, put the 2 thinner sections onto her hair, and then the other thicker section on by itself, and then I just kind of start braiding. A really crucial thing that I do when I braid is actually like always smooth the hair into like the section, either with my thumb or something, or like with a comb. But it's really important to make sure like it's smooth when you're adding the hair on. So here's me almost done. This is a view of like the brick lay, and like as I show you here, you can see why it's so important to start off right, because if you don't have that first initial one right, then the rest of your parts will just be crooked and off track. Most of the time when I get towards like the top of the hair, I just like to part from the bottom because it's like clearer for me to see the sections and clearer for me to see like where the next part should be, like in order to keep up with the brick lay. Brick lay is really important for flatness and neatness. It literally just makes the insole much flatter because all the braids aren't just laying on top of each other, they're actually laying within the gaps. And then like as the client's hair starts to grow out, it'll be like a little bit easier for them to hide their new growth and everything like that. But just like I mentioned before, I'm just pre-parting for the row that I'm going to work on now. And yeah, I guess another little tip with like gel is most of the time you don't really need like a ton of gel. It's just really important to put in the crucial places. So that'll be like in between parts and to like clearly define a section. So yeah, like just really with the parting. And then like of course smoothing the person's hair down. But you never need like a ton of gel because this gel works pretty good, and if you comb it through thoroughly, it'll like spread and last pretty long. I'm really sorry about the way my camera keeps going in and out of focus. I thought I was doing something with the portrait. But look, this is how I add on the hair. I did it in slow motion if you guys can like see a bit better. Like I said, I'd split that hair into 3 sections and I literally just like added up there and started braiding. And then like you can see a side view of the knot. It's super flat, like very flat. The pre-sectioning off the hair in the beginning helps so much, especially with like the consistent sides partings and thicknesses of the braids. I try to make sure that for the size that she asked for, I make them all like pinky size. And the fact that I like pre-parted them all out intentionally in the beginning made it so like almost all the braids are like pretty much identical. Another really crucial thing for flatter braids, what I actually do is I do like a straight horizontal part on the apex of the head because it's basically like the highest point of the head. And what I do is I make sure that all the hair behind the apex is either going towards the back, not like the sides or something. Like make sure all that hair is going towards the back because it'll make the person's head look like really flat. I know I keep saying that, but I don't really know how else to describe it. It just makes the braids look like flatter, not too bulky, and just like on their head. this way and these were going off to the side, it would look really bulky. We finally made it to the last row. So I'm gonna keep showing you guys like how I attach the knot in case like I wasn't clear enough before. I'm gonna try to get it at a couple angles because I don't know if my explanation was really like good. But anyways, so like I said before, I take a piece of braiding hair, split it into 3 sections, kind of literally just like put it in the middle of the section of her hair, twist it down, and then like I literally just start braiding. I was being really conscious of the camera when I did this, and I wasn't really satisfied with how tight the braid was, so I actually went back to show you guys again so you get to see it again. So after splitting that braiding hair in 3, I split her section of hair into 2, and then I literally just place like the 2 smaller sections of braiding hair onto her hair, and then that other section of the braiding hair just gets braided down regularly, and I just keep going. And with the braids, I always like to apply some type of oil or like misting spray. This is the Texture ID Soothing Mist, I believe. I actually use their oil, but it's like the same thing. And this is the final look. I'm gonna go through and show you guys the parting and everything, but my client loved it, and I know these will last her like a pretty long time. It was like a pleasure doing them. Had a lot of fun, and then like I really like the result. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please support my Instagram if you like this work, and of course subscribe and follow.